My name is Mamokgethi Phakeng, the 10th Vice-Chancellor of the University of Cape Town. I retired in 2023. I was a full professor, a B1 rated. I've served as Deputy Vice-Chancellor in different universities, and currently I'm a businesswoman with interests in entertainment, agriculture and food. I still do higher education training for universities mainly outside South Africa. I did experience exclusionary practices as a woman because I studied mathematics. I'm a full professor of mathematics education and I majored in mathematics. I was the only woman in my final year, fourth year mathematics class. There were 10 of us and I was the only woman. And you always have to show up that you're better or you deserve to be in the place. Even as a young child, I knew that I've got to push harder. I've got to do better, because otherwise the assumption is that you cannot do a lot of things that you can do, particularly mathematics. It's because women are not trusted with high positions. Even when you get a full professorship or a vice-chancellor position, you get into the position and there's always doubts whether you can do it. So when a woman applies for a job, there's a look, there's a extra scrutiny in terms of how do they look, can they do this job? More than just looking at the CV, the fact that you're a woman, you start with an authority gap. There's a gap as to whether you'll be able to pull it off. I've heard in interviews, when we interview a senior woman in academia, whether to be a deputy vice-chancellor or a vice-chancellor, that people say, she doesn't have the gravitas. And I would ask them, what do you mean about the gravitas? You know, and nobody can explain. And they would say, but she's too small, the voice is too light. Nobody will take them seriously. Even when the CV is better than everyone on the list, particularly men, they miss out on the jobs because of how they look, how they sound, simply because you're born small. And a woman, that becomes a disadvantage for you. I always felt that I have to work harder, I have to produce harder, because not only am I a woman, I'm small. And of course I like pink lipstick. And that is used against me, you know. So I mean, look at it. I've been in an executive position in university since 2008. I became a professor before I turned 40. I was a rated scientist 3 years after my PhD. I chased all these achievements. Your rating expires every 6 years, and I promise you, every 6 years, even as an executive, when I don't need it, I still applied to be a rated scientist. So as a woman, you're expected to achieve much higher. And then you're expected to show up. I mean, when you have all of that, so I did all of that. I got my rating over and over again. And a different rating, and every time it got higher. And by the way, it doesn't just get higher. It gets higher because you keep doing research, you keep publishing, you keep your international participation and impact going. And then another criticism comes, which men never get. Her earrings are too big. She's too colorful. How are you dressed? How does she look? Her hair. My hair became an issue, you know, because you're a woman. A man can say anything. They can shout. They can have the highest pitch. It's okay. I'm not allowed to have a loud voice. I'm not allowed to be passionate. I'm not allowed to be colorful. I'm not allowed to love the sports that I like. It's a criticism, right? Why? Because I'm a woman. Do they look at the CV? No, it's as if the CV doesn't exist. But here's the thing. If you're a woman and you don't have the CV, you look a little bit dull. Actually, you stand a better chance of being liked, being supported, and getting ahead. If you tick every box and more, you're a threat, you become too powerful. They don't like you. Why? because everyone wants to listen to you, because you've got your own voice. You don't regurgitate what's written in textbooks. You're a thinker. You nailed the mathematics. Now you nail the thinking. You can't do that as a woman. You've got to be subdued. And so I felt the pressure, and I lived up to it. And I just learned that it's actually never enough. When I started, I worked with a motto that says, excellence is the best deterrent to any kind of discrimination. After 30 years in academia, my thoughts are different. Discriminators will always discriminate. Patriarchy will always be there, irrespective of how excellent you are. So the best way is to learn how to navigate the space. You know, if you want to pursue a career in the tertiary sector, first of all, get your PhD. Get your PhD, publish. Like, don't even think you'll get the job simply because you're a woman. Tick all the boxes that are required for everyone, and then check what are the extra boxes. Tick them too. Why? So that you try to close all these criticisms. And then don't forget to be yourself. You can never be a man. If you're small, you can never be bigger. That's who you are. Own it. Own it, accept it, flaunt it, use it to your advantage. Because there's nothing else you can do. That's who you are. Once you have earned the qualifications, the experience, the kudos, the regard internationally, don't focus on getting the respect here, because a prophet is never welcome in their own hometown. Focus on having international impact. And here's the thing, don't think to get international impact, you've got to pursue questions that are of interest only to the West. You pursue questions that are of interest to us, and you'll be surprised. Our problems are problems of the world. As I always say, the local is global. I got ahead because I focused on a research question that was affecting Black mathematics learners. And that's what gave me international regard. Why? I did it passionately, with quality, and I owned myself. I went all over the world presenting my research, being myself, because I can't be anything better. So be yourself, do your best, and get ahead. After that, by the way, don't think you're not going to be criticized. You're going to be criticized, just take it. Take it and move on. This is the world that we live in.